First appearing in Tales to Astonish number 27 from 1962, Hank Pym can shrink to the size of an ant, or grow up to 100 feet all by ingesting Pym particles, either as a serum, gas, or capsule. He can also change the size of objects. Using a cybernetic helmet, Pym can communicate with ants and control them. Dr. Hank Pym, a brilliant scientist, discovered a rare group of subatomic particles that became known as Pym particles. When ingested through a serum, and later through a gas and capsule, the particles could either shrink a person down to the size of an ant, or increase a person's size to 10, 25, even 100 feet in height. Undertaking a study of ants, Pym also developed a cybernetic helmet that allowed him to communicate with and control ants. Developing a costume to go along with his size-changing ability and helmet, Pym reduced himself to the size of an ant and fought evil as Ant-Man. Pym and his future wife, Janet Van Dyne, were founding members of the Avengers as Ant-Man and the Wasp. Later, Pym decided to use his size-changing powers to grow rather than shrink, and he began fighting crime as the costumed hero Giant Man. Eventually, Pym realized that changing his size was putting too great a strain on his body, and he stopped. When Janet was kidnapped by a tomb and the Collector, Pym helped the Avengers rescue her. He then became Goliath. While experimenting in his lab, an accident changed Pym's personality. He claimed that he had murdered Pym and became Yellow Jacket. He married Janet, but they later divorced. During the secret invasion, it was revealed that Pym was a Skrull imposter. The real Pym returned to see the Wasp die due to the modifications his Skrull impersonator had made to her powers. Pym renamed himself the Wasp in honor of Janet and formed a new Avengers team. During the Dark Reign, Pym formed his own team of Renegade Avengers to work against Norman Osborn. Following Osborn's downfall, Pym decided that he could do most good by doing something similar to what his Skrull impersonator had done, teaching the next generation of heroes how to handle their powers. To that end, he founded the Avengers Academy. Meanwhile, Pym studied the son of Tigra, who'd had a relationship with Pym's Skrull impersonator. Since the Skrull had duplicated Pym's genetic code, the boy turned out to be genetically Pym's, and Tigra asked Pym to care for him should anything ever happen to her. Early in his career with the Avengers, Pym had invented a robot called Ultron, which grew to be one of the greatest villains of all time, and dedicated to the eradication of organic life. Ultron had left the planet long ago, but he now returned and laid the world to waste. A few heroes survived, and they traveled to the Savage Land to find a time machine to stop Ultron. While most of the heroes went into the future, where Ultron had hidden himself, Wolverine and Invisible Woman traveled back in time. They found Pym working in his lab just before he created Ultron, and Wolverine killed him. However, this act eradicated all the good Pym had done as well as the bad, as Wolverine and Invisible Woman discovered when they returned to the present. They went back to stop themselves, and convinced Pym to send a secret message to his future self, and then erase his memories of the entire event. Pym eventually created a virus to defeat Ultron, but the virus evolved into Demetrios, a sentient AI bent on revenge against humanity. Pym joined S.H.I.E.L.D. to found a new Avengers AI team to combat the virus. During a later attack by Ultron, Pym merged with his creation and was seemingly killed after Ultron fled into space. Hank later returned to Earth wearing Ultron as armor, and told his fellow Avengers that he was in control and that Ultron was no more. In fact, the reverse was true. This new Ultron-Pym hybrid later gained control of the Soul Gem, with Pym's soul trapped inside it. Pym tried to escape and believed he had done so, only to discover it was an illusion created by one of the creatures living in the Soul Gem, as it seemed to consume him. Comment down below what videos you'd like to see in the future, and what you thought of Hank Pym in the MCU. Remember to like the video, and subscribe for more Marvel content, and follow me on my various platforms listed in the description. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.